In this video, we're going to find absolute extrema. It says find the absolute maximum and absolute minimum of the function. And they give you f of x is equal to x cubed over 3 minus 7x squared over 2 plus 10x minus 5 over the interval 1 to 4. It says enter the exact answer. If there is more than one value of x in the interval at which the maximum or minimum occurs, you should use a comma to separate them. So to find absolute maximum and absolute minimum, we're basically trying to find the highest y value in this interval 1 to 4. And those y values could be at the endpoints. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out what the y values are for the endpoints. So we're going to go ahead and plug in f of 1 and evaluate that, and then we're also going to do f of 4 to figure out what the y values would be. If you plug in f of 1, you get 1 cubed divided by 3 minus 7 1 squared over 2 plus 10 times 1 minus 5. And when you multiply all that together, you get 11 over 6 for the y value. So you have a coordinate that is 1 comma 11 over 6 for your y value. And I just plug that in the calculator. So basically that's 1 cubed would be 1/3. And then I've got 7 over 2, minus 7 over 2 plus 10 minus 5. Plug all that in the calculator, and I get 11 over 6. Do the same thing for 4. So I end up with 4 cubed over 3 minus 7 times 4 squared over 2 plus 10 times 4 minus 5. So plug this in the calculator again. When you do that, you end up with 1/3. So that means that when you plug in 4, you get a value of 1/3. Now, we found the y values for the endpoints. What we want to do now is we want to take the derivative of this equation. So basically what we're trying to figure out is when do the slopes, because a maximum or minimum is going to occur when your slope of your line is 0. And the reason that happens is if your slope of the line is 0, you're going to either have a peak or you're going to have a trough. One of the two is going to happen because this has a positive slope here, and then it has a negative slope on this side, and right there in the middle, it gets a slope of 0. That's how it changes. And the same thing happens. We got a negative slope here, and then this is a positive slope, and that's going to occur at a slope value of 0. So if I take the derivative of this equation, I'm finding the equation for the rate of change, and if I set that equal to 0, I will find my points where I have slope of 0. So let's take the derivative of this. So I'd say f prime of x is going to equal 3. When I bring that to the front, that'll be 3 over 3 x squared minus, when I bring the 2 to the front here, I'll get minus 7 over 2. Well, I'm going to say minus 7 over 2 times 2 because I'm bringing that 2 to the front, and then that would be just x left. And then I have plus 10, and then derivative of negative 5, that's going to cancel out. So we end up with f prime of x is equal to x squared minus 7x plus 10. Now I want to set this equal to 0, so I want to say that f prime of x is equal to 0, which I'm going to go ahead and say that's equal to x squared minus 7x plus 10. So we're going to factor here. We got 0 is equal to x minus 5, x minus 2. 0 product property here, and we get x minus 5 is equal to 0, or x minus 2 is equal to 0. Add the 5, add the 2, and we get x is equal to 5, or x is equal to 2. So we have 2 spots that we get for values for x values, we got 5 and 2, but only one of them falls within our interval, which is 1 to 4. Okay, so our interval is 1 to 4, and this x value of 2 is the only one that falls in there. So I'm going to kind of just cross out this x value of 5. We don't have to evaluate that piece. So then once I have this x value of 2, I want to go back up and do the same thing that I did earlier with this f of 1 and f of 4. I'm going to say f of 2 is equal to, and that would give me 2 cubed over 3 minus 7 times 2 squared over 2 plus 10 times 2 minus 5. And when I plug that in the calculator, that's going to give me 11 over 3. So I end up with a coordinate that is 2, comma, 11 over 3. And then I want to compare these y values together to figure out which one's the highest, which one's the lowest. So 1/3 is the smallest of these three, and 1/3 is less than 11 over 6. 11 over 6 would be the next highest. It's just under 2 because 12 over 6 is 2. Less than 11 over 3 is just under 4, so 11 over 3 is the largest. So we can say that we have an absolute, because this is the maximum here, 11 over 3, we can say that we have an absolute maximum of 11 over 3 at x equal 2. So I'm basically just writing this coordinate out and saying that the absolute maximum is 11 over 3 at x equal 2. And then we can say that we have an absolute minimum of 1/3, and that occurs at x is equal to 4.